So 2018-2019 Premier League season is over, and it is Manchester City who reign supreme after a season-long battle with Liverpool at the top. But what about me? What about my predictions that I made back in July 2018? How many did I get right, and how many did I get wrong? So let's hop back in the DeLorean and find out. That's right, folks, back once again with another prediction video, this time looking back at my 2018-2019 early door predictions for the old Premier League season. And we'll get to that in just 1 second. If you're new to the channel, smash your subscribe button to keep you bang up to date with all things Premier League related, Blackburn Rovers related, world football related. We're going to all hear under one roof. Now, what's going to happen here is we're going to take a look back at my predictions that I made back in the end of July, maybe early August. 2018, before a ball had been kicked in the Premier League season. Now, what I could do really is do a sort of voiceover thing with the old video, but instead of that, I'm just going to knock up a graphic, which will pop up in a second, and we'll go through bit by bit what I predicted for 20th position, and then we'll see what's happened in the real world. If you want to check out that original video of my original predictions, which are a little bit shocking, there is a link to that sucker in the description below. But anyway, let's waste no more further ado and kick it off and see who I predicted, who I thought would come in 20th in the old Premier League. So kicking it all off, it was Cardiff City. That's my call. I saw them coming in bottom of the pops in 20th spot, but in the real world it was Huddersfield Town. Cardiff in fact finished 2 places better off, up into 18th, just missing out on survival towards back in the season. They obviously had a really ropey season with a lot of off the field matters as well. It's a shame. It was a shame. If you watched a lot of my week by week predictions, I was actually rooting for Cardiff to surprise us all, because to be honest with you, nobody deserves what they had to endure this season with losing a man in such a player in such a horrific style. It was just shocking news. But we'll move on. It's a 19th spot. I thought it was going to be Huddersfield Town. That's right, 19th spot. They actually finished in 20th spot. So 1 place better off, or 1 place worse off than I predicted. In the real world, it was Fulham. We'll take a look at how good I thought Fulham were in a little bit, and it's going to be a while actually, because I actually saw them quite far up the table. So yeah, how bad a season did they have? Pretty horrific when you think about it. Obviously they had Slavia Jakovic as manager early doors, then they had Claudio Ranieri, and then they finished up with Scotty Parker, who's been given the job full-time next season. What's going to happen with him in Fulham next season? We'll have to wait and see. I will be doing a championship prediction for the new season when that comes around, maybe back in the July. So stand by for that sucker. Moving to 18th spot, I thought it was going to be Crystal Palace. Obviously under the managerialship of Roy Hodgson. They actually finished much better, 6 places better off, up to around about 12th. Cardiff actually finished in 18th in the real world. So I got that one well wrong, completely wrong. Yeah, it's always difficult to call. To be honest with you, a lot of people may have backed Huddersfield to stay up. Because when you look at the 2 teams, or the teams that did get promoted, Wolves and Fulham, both of them looked credible candidates to stay up. And I think Cardiff were always going to struggle no matter what. So there was always going to be a question mark over who I thought I was going to be in 80. So realistically, if my Blackburn Rovers head was squished on a bit tighter, I probably would have put Burnley in there. But no. Into 17th spot, it's Brighton over Albion, boys and girls. I got the one bang on the flipping nose, and that hot off the press now. Chris Hughton has just been fired by Brighton, and to be honest with you, yeah, it's a bad call for him, but I think ultimately it's the right move going forward. I think if they were to keep Chris Hughton in charge, I think next season will be a bit of a struggle for Brighton. So yeah, it's sad to see him go, because I think he's a fantastic manager, and I know he'll get a job, possibly back in the Championship pretty soon. But I think for Brighton moving forward, it is definitely the right decision. 4.5 years at Brighton. Yeah, time for some new ideas. Will they get the appointment right? Probably not. It's a gamble, but we'll have to wait and see. It's a 16th spot. It is Southampton. And again, I got that one spot on the nose, boys and girls. Yes, two out of, 5? Bang on the nose. Not too shabby, I must say. Yeah, Southampton started again. Who did they have in charge? Was it Sparky? Mark Hughes? Obviously, that fell flat pretty quickly, and they brought in this Hussenhutel fella, who's done an okay job, and I expect big things. Well, not big things, but at least a progression next season for Southampton. So they were going in the right direction. They gave Liverpool a game. They gave Manchester United. I think they beat Manchester United, but who didn't? Who didn't beat Manchester United this season, or at least run them close? So yeah, Southampton, credit to them, sticking around and hanging in there. And next season, yeah, big things that await. Moving into 15th, I got them six-finger banjo playing Freakazoids Burnley. That's right, they're in 15th spot. Got that one bang on the nose as well. Ultimately, I do hope they get relegated next season, and I hope they finish bottom of the pile with 0 points. In fact, I hope they get negative points. That's how much I would like to see them succeed. And yeah, as it stands, I think they're going to find it a very difficult next season, Burnley, and they could do a Brighton. And either just survive, or they could even go down. So yeah, they need to step it up as well. Maybe it's time for Sean Dyche to move on, and they bring in someone else who's not that good and get them relegated. But anyway, Burnley, 50th spot. The less said about them, the better. Into 14th spot, we have Watford. Now, Watford are FA Cup finalists. They could end the season with a bit of bling, which could be, it's definitely much better than what Manchester United have got up their sleeves, haven't they? They've walked away with nothing. Could be the same amount as they could actually out-trophy Liverpool as well, depending on what goes on in the Champions League. But Watford finished 3 places better off into 11th, just shy of the 10th spot. So, yeah, not a bad season for them. And for me, I knew they were going to be good enough to survive, and I think Watford, they're in good shape moving forward. I think things are looking good for them. They've got the right camaraderie between the boys, and I think the manager Garcia, is that his name? Javi Garcia. I think he's done a tremendous job for them so far, and I look forward to see what they got up the sleeve. In the real world, Bournemouth finished in 14th spot, and again they've had a good season as well with Eddie Howe. How long is he going to stick around though? I think one. Yeah, no. If Leicester City hadn't have got Rodgers, I think Eddie Howe would have been a good job for a good step up for him. So yeah, the future is bright for Eddie Howe. How long is he going to stick around? It's going to be a something to check out in the next year or so. Moving into 13th spot, Bournemouth. Okay, so we've seen where they finished. They finished one place worse off than my prediction, but again, they just keep surprising me year in, year out. In the real world, Newcastle finished in 13th spot. We'll see where they actually finished in my predictions. Obviously, I've predicted them to finish much higher than 30th spot. But Bournemouth continue to do what they do. It doesn't seem to be too many prima donnas knocking around at Bournemouth. So yeah, keep that going, and you're onto a winning deal. Moving on to 12th spot, Wolves. Now this is, to be honest with you, I think this is a solid prediction. Obviously, they finished much higher. Was it 5th? 8th spot, 1, 2, 3, 4, no, maybe 7th spot. They might finish in 7th spot. It's absolute tremendous first season back in the Premier League. I think Espirito Santo's done a wonderful job. Obviously, they do have a bit of money behind them, and they brought in a lot of young Portuguese players that have hit the ground running. So you see what they've done, Rovers fans out there. When we had Steve Keane and co, and they brought on all that Portuguese crap, we probably brought in all of the Portuguese C League crap. We didn't do it the Wolves way. Wolves done it the right way for the time being. Obviously, I'd like to see them next season. I think if they can kick on and improve on 7th, which is going to be a mega ass to break into the top 6, that's going to be something to be, it's going to be a tough order. Everton are going to be knocking on the door. Even West Ham and Leicester are going to be knocking on the door. So it's going to be, to see them exceed 7th spot next season would be an achievement, a hell of an achievement. But well done, Wolves. You're doing it the right way. And an amazing first season back. So I predicted they finished 12th. They finished higher in 7th. In the real world, Crystal Palace finished in 12th. Into 11th spot we go. Newcastle United. Obviously, they finished in 2 places worse off. Into 13th spot. And in the real world, Watford do finish in 11th spot, just outside the top 10. Yeah, Newcastle, they need to one, either get rid of the owner, quick time, or the owner needs to back the flipping manager, because they've got the right ingredients with the, when you look through the 20 teams in the Premier League, there's obviously Klopp and Pep Guardiola are amazing manager. Pochettino's a good manager. Rafa's up there. He's won the Champions League. He's been with Chelsea. He's been with Liverpool. He's obviously a phenomenal record across the continent. He's a phenomenal world-class manager, and he's in a team, Newcastle, who finished at 13th, and the manager doesn't back him. What? You're wasting your opportunity here. I think you've got a tremendous chance to break into the top 10 and maybe even do a Wolves and battle for 7th again, and maybe get into Europa League spots. You're wasting your opportunity here, Geordie fans. I know you guys haven't got this to say about this. It's behind the scenes. means. But Ashley needs to go. They need to get in an owner who's keen and excited, because you've got the fan base, you've got all the makings of a tremendous Premier League side, and it's just been hindered by Mike Ashley. But anyway, finished 13th in the real world, 11th in my eyes. I do think that they have a top 10 team, and they could just one or two players in the summer if investment is given. I think they could be knocking on the door again. So just get rid of Ashley. You can sort yourself out. In the 10th spot we go Everton. Obviously they finished 2 places better off in 8th. Not too shabby, you know. Obviously, Everton had a rock and roll season, up and down, left, right, centre, all over the shop. But finishing strongly in 8th spot. I think they drew their final game against Spurs 2-2. So, yeah, strong season. In the real world, they finished 8th, 10th. Not bad indeed. Here we go. Here's where there's some of the shock. There are a couple real horrific ones, and here's one here. Fulham into 9th. I actually saw them eclipsing Wolves in Cardiff. But ultimately, they finished in 19th spot, 10 spots worse off. A horrific season, absolutely horrific. They spent big money and it didn't pay off. They had Premier League manager Claudio Ranieri coming in to try and save the day, but too little, too late. He fell short. So, yeah, and to be honest with you, Scotty Parker, yeah, young manager and all that. Initial thoughts if they're going to bounce back next season. Obviously, if they can keep some of the players. In fact, it's a gamble. It's such a gamble because if you're playing high money per week on a weekly basis for some big time players and it's not going to pay off, you could feel the wrath of some financial implications further down the line. So they've got to tread lightly. If they can get that stuff sorted out and don't pay and reduce their wage, they might have a chance to bounce back. Obviously, Tom Kenny, they've got a good captain. I think, obviously, ex-Rover. Yeah, it's not going to be easy for Fulham next season. I think they're going to not going to walk it. But they should be in the mix of playoffs at least. But anyway, ultimately relegated after I called them to finish 9th. So, yeah, sorry, boys. Into 8th spot we go. I called it. It was West Ham United. Obviously, Pellegrini in charge. The optimism was there. Javier Hernandez, Arnautovic. Some good players. Anderson looks a tremendous player. They'll be lucky. I don't know if there's rumours linking him outside of West Ham, but he was phenomenal this season and definitely ripped up Spurs a couple occasions, even some of the big boys. So they finished in 10th spot. Hopefully, I'd like to see them kick on next season and push for 8th, maybe even break into that top 6. But they need to obviously Declan Rice, quality player. Is he going to stick around? Man United need a whole rebuild, and they'll be sniffing at some of the youngsters who are already banging on the doors for big moves such as Declan Rice. Anyway, 8th I called it. They finished 10th, 2 places worse off. Not too shabby. Everton finished in 8th in the real world, so ultimately not too bad. That little middle of the park. Besides, if you could just ignore that Fulham blurb, then you'd be all right. Leicester 7th. They finished in 9th in the real world, 2 places better off. Now this is. Who did they start as manager? Puel, I think Puel was in charge. That was an ambitious call by me. 7th for them. Obviously, with Rodgers in charge, I think they're an exciting team. They got the bit between the teeth. They're young. They're hungry. They're not going to do they're not going to do a Ranieri next season and win it. No way, Jose. But they could be in about this 7th, 8th spot. Again, definitely top 10. It's going to get harder and harder. I think there's going to be obviously the top 6 of the top 6. And do I think that's going to change? I don't think so. I think the 6 teams in the top 6 will be the 6 teams in the top 6 next season. It will just be maybe a bit of a reshake. But between 7th and 12th, that's also a little bit of a battle, and I think that's going to be an interesting scrap as well to see who can top that little cluster. And Leicester are going to be in that mix. If they didn't finish 7th this season, but I think they could do it next season with a full season of Rodgers in charge. Wolves did finish in 7th. Amazing season for them. They will be. That means I think they're in Europe, so credit to them. Chelsea finished. I called Chelsea in 6th spot. They finished 3 places better off in 3rd. So good end to the season for Sarri Ball. There was obviously rumours about him getting the boot throughout the season. Still got a chance to end the season with a trophy, the Europa League, up against Arsenal. Manchester United did, in fact, finish in 6th spot with probably one of their worst seasons on record. Definitely worst Premier League season on record. So it's going to be interesting to see what goes on there in the next 2 or 3 months with the transfer window. I'm excited. I'm not excited, but it's gonna be interesting. You know, a lot of players could go. A lot of players could arrive. We could see a completely new facelifted Manchester United kick off in August. But Chelsea, yeah, they finished stronger in 3rd spot. In the 5th spot, we got Tottenham Hotspur. See, this top 6 was was a different shake-up. At the start of the season, you got to think about Jose Mourinho was in charge of Manchester United. Sarri ball was new, and it just didn't think it was going to settle down. Tottenham had Champions League, and they still do have Champions League dreams on their hands. So that was another. So all these things were going to take in effect. Anyway, they did finish fourth, one place better off than my fifth in the real world. Arsenal finished in fifth, and again, wait till you see my top four here, boys. This is where it gets hairy. Obviously, it's easy to look back on it now and think, yeah, Manchester City, Liverpool, they deserved the number 1 and number 2 spot. But at the start of the season, everyone on a level playing field, you didn't know what you were going to get. So this is my top 4. Here we go. I'm sorry. It's horrific. Fourth spot, Liverpool. That's right. I called Liverpool to be fourth. Obviously, they finished second. Realistically, they could have won it. Just 1 point shy off the top spot. An amazing season for them, and to be honest with you, I know I'd love to see them win it. I think I know the Liverpool fans can be a little bit in your face sometimes, and I get that. They did have a decade of dominance back in the 80s. And I do hope to see them win the Champions League. I don't know. In fact, the Champions League is a completely different kettle of fish. I'll talk about that in a separate video. But yeah, it's very sad because I like Klopp as a manager. I think he's amazing and he deserves some glory, and it might come in the Champions League. But yeah, what an amazing season for them. Only to finish second though, that is a bit of a bust. But yeah, I did think fourth. I just again same deal, juggling so many things at once. With the heartbreak of the Champions League final last season, I thought maybe it would have a bad effect for Liverpool, but no, they dusted themselves down. Obviously, they've got the morale alive and kicking at Anfield. So yeah, just 1 point shy, unbelievably. Into third spot, I thought Manchester United will finish in third. Obviously, Mourinho has his own style of ways, and if let's turn the clock back actually before Mourinho got sacked. Let's just say he stuck around to the end of the season. Would they have finished in sixth spot? Would he have been able to juggle the personalities and the conflicts at Old Trafford a bit better than Solskjaer? I don't know. It's an interesting scenario that is possibly we can't explore now, obviously, but obviously during that caretaker period, Solskjaer had done an amazing job, and he'd won like 9 on the spin, or he was unbeaten in like 9 or 10 games. It was good. It was a good run for them, and that's obviously painted the picture for the people to make the decision about who to hire and fire at Old Trafford, and that's where they gave him the job. But since he's been hired on a full-time deal, it's all gone pear-shaped. Obviously it's too early to say get rid of the lad. He's done an absolute shit show, but let's give him the transfer window. As a United fans, I'm sure, just see what happens to see if you can get rid of the bad eggs at Old Trafford and bring in some good players to kick them forward. Because obviously, I don't know what changed between the caretaker role and the full-time role. It's just balmy on a third eye point of view. But Manchester United, obviously, horrific season, 6th spot. A win in the FA Cup for Watford would see them not even qualify for Europa. That could be a blessing in disguise, for all those long Thursday travels out to Azerbaijan and wherever, Israel and all that kind of good stuff. So it could be a blessing in disguise to focus purely on the Premier League and maybe get yourself back in the top 4. So yeah, horrific season for United. I did call them in third. Shame on me. Into second spot, I actually saw Manchester City in second spot. Obviously, they went all the way as Premier League winners. In the real world, Liverpool finished in second. And if you can do the quick math and quick calculation to go, who the heck did he pick as number 1 spot? Well, I'll break it to you right now, folks. I actually had Arsenal. That's right. Unai Emery and co. I thought they would baffle us all, surprise us all. Because, football's a funny old game. We've seen it this past week in the Champions League. Football was a funny old game. And I thought, way back at the start of the season, you know what? After 20 odd million years with Arsene Wenger as charge, wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't it be great to see a fresh approach at Arsenal and them come in and steamroll the division? Well, not steamroll the division, but surprise us all and win it. It would have been a nice fairy tale for footballists around the world, but nope. Money won out in the end with Manchester City, and they win their second back-to-back Premier League trophy, or was it third in the Premier League era? So yeah, but ultimately I got that one horrifically wrong. They did finish. They finished in 5th. They also could end the season trophyless. But at the end of the day, they still have a shot at Champions League. So as bad as this prediction is, I do think Arsenal have improved tremendously in 12 months since Arsene Wenger has moved on. I think that the outlook is good for Arsenal. Yes, I might have been maybe 3 or 4 seasons too early with this call. I will definitely will think about long and hard about my predictions next season in my early door predictions, which will be in July, first to see who will go out. Initial vibe will be, again, I think it'll be a Manchester City Liverpool double header. Maybe, just maybe, there will be another a third team in the mix, possibly Tottenham. But we'll have to wait and see. We'll see what goes on in the old transfer window, see who comes, who goes, and all that kind of good stuff. But on the grand scheme of things, my predictions of the 20 teams is not too shabby, boys and girls. Obviously, down towards the bottom of the table, I got 3 bang on the nose. But in the middle of the park, it's not too horrific. If you ignore the Fulham and the Arsenal and maybe the Wolves in 12th spot, you would think it would be pretty decent. But ultimately, that is that, folks. That is my predictions. A recap of them from back in July compared to the real world, so not too shabby indeed. Moving forward, the channel will kind of switch. You'll kind of see a bit of a change in focus to international football over the next week or so as the European leagues come to a close. The tournaments out in African Cup of Nations, the Copa America, the Gold Cup will all be kicking off in June. So I'll be looking at those bad boys to do some predictions as I focus on improving some graphics and things like that for the new season in 2019-2020. But yeah, the videos will keep on coming in some regard. It'll just maybe slow down a little bit. If you've got any other suggestions for the channel, stick them down in the old comment section down below. I will be looking forward to doing a prediction video such as this for the new season towards the back end of July. And then I'll kick on again with my weekly predictions for match day by match day in the Premier League. It's been fun. I've enjoyed it. I look forward to doing things again like this. And if you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to receive daily content. Make sure you smash that bell thing as well. It'll keep you bang up to date with all things coming out of the channel. And also, if you enjoy this video, smash the thumbs up. And while I still have you, check out the old description. Links to my other social media platforms are in there: Twitter, Facebook, and of course, the hotly released Patreon page, boys and girls. I am looking for Patreons. I've got a couple on the books as it stands in my exclusive VIP gang. If you want to join those 2 fellas in there, check out the link in the old description below, and you get perks and privileges to other content and other bits and pieces over there. But anyway, I'm going to get out of it. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Smash the thumbs up, smash the subscribe, and I'll be in touch very, very soon as we lean forward to the new 2019-2020 Premier League season. Thanks again for watching. Please like, share, and most importantly, hit the subscribe button to keep you bang up to date. All things Blackburn Rovers related, Championship related, football related. We've got it all covered right under one roof. And while I still have you, please be sure to check out some of the old videos scattered along here. I hope.